Hey, it's Joe Opashinsky with Energeticcity.ca. I'm here for the community roundup here at the Fort St. John Fire Department. I'm with Alyn Stobbe. He's pretty mean today. What the heck? You made me walk that whole way. No, I'm just kidding. How are you doing today, Alyn?
Yeah, good, Jay.
Yeah. It's been a while since we've been able to do one of these videos, and one of the main reasons I wanted to talk to you for the community roundup was specifically, we've done so many videos with you, but we haven't really talked about you as a fire inspector and what your job entails. And then on top of that, which is a part of your job, we wanted to talk about I was going to forget the name anyways, the Community Safety Academy. So let's start off with that. You know,
Sure.
What goes into that? From my understanding, that's when you go out to speak with kids and kind of give them some lessons. What goes into that?
Well, yeah, that's one part of our job that we get to do. And I say get to because it's fun, right? You get to interact with, say, kids or children, like usually the elementary grades. So either we're in schools, in the classroom settings, or we have the kids here. And when they're here at the fire hall, they come through the academy, they all line up and they kind of do their salutes. Like we kind of build it up for them, right?
Oh, so, that's awesome.
They come here into our classroom and we run them through the kind of teaching session. So we use a slideshow and teach them the basics. Mm-hmm. The province has got a really good system. It's called Getting to Know Fire. And so we base our curriculum off of that. And we teach the kids the basics about fire safety. It's interactive. We have a lot of fun. And they enjoy it.
So you're doing it during the summer as well, right? Because I saw a couple weeks ago you were doing something for Mom Murray. Is that just like the daycare?
Yeah, so if there's a daycare, it's not quite the same level because the children obviously are a lot junior to that.
Yeah, I was gonna ask like how between the grades is like, do you have to speak in a different way or present it in a different way?
Totally. Like if you go to grade 6, you got to present differently, right? So you got to talk differently, give them different information. The daycares, you have to kind of dumb it down and talk to their level. And I'm good because I'm a kid at heart. So.
I feel that too. I think that's why we gel so well together when we do these.
Yeah.
And just when we're chatting, we're both giant kids.
Yeah.
More giant over here, but.
Yeah, less giant.
So throughout the summer, you're chatting with the kids during the school year as well. So outside of that, I guess, what's the most important thing that you want the kids to leave with every single, I guess I'll call it like a classroom session that
Sure,
you do?
a visit time. Yeah, exactly. So there's a number of every grade or age, they got a base of different knowledge that we want to get across. Mm-hmm. So the grade 3s versus the grade 6s versus daycare, they got a different base of knowledge that we want them to leave with, right? Planting seeds for the daycare, they may not get everything, but at least if they get some of the things, we're just starting the base.
When really they just know there's really cool trucks at that one place.
That's part of it too, right? So the second half after the classroom is they actually get to interact with the firefighters on duty.
Oh, that's awesome.
So they see the firefighters in all their protective clothing, all the gear, how they look, and the masks. So they're still friends, right? They're not kind of,
Yeah, no.
I don't want to use the scary word because they're not. They're your friends. But yeah, so they get to interact with the firefighters, see the trucks, see their tools, actually get to handle a fire hose.
Oh, that's cool too.
Yeah, and put out a fire. The fire pole's part of that too. So, it's really cool. It's a fun time.
That's awesome. And so how long have you been doing this for, like speaking with the kids specifically? Is it since you've been a fire inspector? Because that's a part of the job?
Like I've been doing this for 14 years and we've been morphing and we've been changing. We developed a fire prevention branch over the years in Fort St. John Fire Department. And my position was new when I first started. We didn't have a fire inspector. The whole system was all based and transferred to one person, the captain. So he had no support, right? Yeah. So my position was a supportive position to that. So collectively, the two of us or the three of us, we have a deputy who kind of directs us a little bit. We get to kind of look over what we want to do for the year and try and build up our system so they're more manageable and they're more interactive. We want to branch out so it's less about fire and more about community safety, right? How do we prevent water burns, right? Or traveling. What are some tips we've been posting?
Yeah, and I was going to say one of the pieces to that is doing these videos, right? And like, because we've had specific topics that we've talked about beforehand to kind of push that out there. Before we kind of delve into more of your position, with the kids, just talking about that. Is that so? Like all the classroom sessions that you have, these learning moments, is that a part of the academy or is this separate?
So the academy, like when they leave, they get a little hat, they get a coloring book. You probably can't see that there. They get a little badge sticker, right? So it's pretty official for them. So that's this academy setting that we have in-house.
Okay.
So, and that's just, when we go out to the different places, it's a little different. It's
Okay.
more loose, right? So we're just kind of interacting. I'll bring my firefighter gear and I'll show them that, just to show the friends again, especially for the little people. We want to make them comfortable with us.
Yeah. And when you're at the schools, there's probably more kids that you're talking to, so
it could be a whole assembly, like the whole school.
Yeah, and
right?
you're
We've
just
done
doing
that.
On fire. Yeah, definitely. I remember that even when I was a kid. So like for the academy itself,
Yeah.
like is it different daycares and even classrooms that like sign up for it?
Totally,
Is that
yeah.
so? Okay.
Yeah, they approach the city and through the front office, they contact us and sign up. Yeah. Just say, hey, we want a session with you guys. So.
I was just so interested in it because honestly, I think it's huge. You hear a lot of those stories of like, and you don't want to hear it, but like you'll hear or read something online of like a fire happening somewhere and a kid does something that they learned, you know what I mean? So it's very important. And also I loved doing it when I was a kid. I was able to drive on the fire truck and I got like a Dalmatian with a fire helmet when I lived in Abbotsford. And yeah, it's crazy. Like it's cool memories for me. So I can only imagine some of the kids now, right?
Yeah.
And then moving now into your position as the fire inspector. Sure. So how many fire inspectors are there within the department and kind of what are your guys' duties?
There's just one of me.
It's just you? Okay.
Yeah. So my main job, besides this education piece, which is awesome, is actually going out into the different businesses along with some of the crews, checking out for fire code violations. We just want to make sure that everybody is operating in a safe manner and is usually an educational portion. There's a lot of people that don't know, hey, I can't store this here. I shouldn't do this, or I shouldn't operate this way, because they don't know. They don't understand that, like 5 years ago, that certain thing that you're doing caused 50% of the fires in the province, right? That's an example, maybe.
Yeah.
But so we just go in, we go through the business, we check it out. The fire code talks a certain way, and so we just try and make that applicable to you and me. Make it plain language, right? You can't do this because of this. Yeah, so
I imagine looking at the actual fire code is not the general public.
It's not
probably
something
doesn't want to read it too.
It's not like the library reading time where you're just like, okay, story time, kids. Yeah.
Well, I gotta go to the bathroom. Where's the fire code?
Yeah.
You know what I mean. But so with that, and when you actually go to do these inspections, is it something like, are you keeping track of the businesses that you have to go to, or is it based off complaints, or how does that work?
Yeah, we have a whole system. So we run through pretty much every business, like a commercial unit within the city proper, because that's our jurisdiction. We go through that, some businesses every 2 years and some businesses every year. So we know the buildings, we generally know the people. Year after year, some of the changes, but yeah, we do. We're there with a system. It's geographically laid out for us, and we just hammer it out all year round.
Awesome. And then so for like fire alarms and CO2 alarms, is that included in that? Because like I just remember you see the dates of when they're inspected, specifically like at an apartment building. Yeah. Is that something that you guys are doing, or like you check in to make sure that they're like, how does that work?
So if you got an apartment building that you own, you're the owner or you have a representative that you're using to maintain your building, right? And there's certain compliance things that you have to comply with, right? So we would come in once a year and say, hey, here's your list of things that are wrong. This is why we need to change some things. And the property management groups in town that we've got, they've been working with us for several years. They totally understand. They've been really good, and they're great to deal with. So good job, guys.
Shout out to all of you.
Shout out to all those guys. Yeah, they've been working hard at this. So yeah, and it's.
So it is you going in, or is it just they're checking it themselves, and if they need anything, then
No,
they call
we're in
you
there
are checking
once a year for sure.
Once a year for sure. Okay, so it's a part of those rounds is the apartment
Yeah,
building.
totally. Or if we get a complaint, we'll go check out the complaint and say, hey, yeah, this is a valid thing. Like, you got to do something about it.
Yeah, no, definitely. And so, what else is involved with the fire inspector? So you're inspecting the buildings year round. You're working on public awareness pieces that people should know about.
Yeah.
You're going to chat with kids in school. What else is a part of the job?
So if you have a fire, another aspect of the job is for us to do an investigation. We want to try and figure out the cause. What started this fire, and how can we prevent this thing from happening again? So all the inspections are from those statistics, right? The fire code is based off of those statistics, right? So all the investigations that we do are kind of a base for that, right? So if we can figure things out and then we share that information with the province, then all the fire departments across the province now have a better understanding, right? So that's a large part of what we do too. We try and prevent the fires from happening through education, but if they do happen, because things happen, then we try and investigate and see what that was.
So, say there's a fire, hypothetically, there's a fire a couple blocks away from here.
Yep.
The boys go respond to it. Are you involved in that live fire at all? Like, are you coming in after to do the investigation portion of it?
Yeah, we'll
with
try
them?
it. We'll
Or-
come alongside.
Okay.
And at the moment of the fire or when it's being concluded, and there's a customer care aspect too. We want to make sure that, say if it's your home that's been affected, we want to make sure that you know what are the next steps for you. We'll try and help you out. Do you need some sort of social assistance care? How can we help you out in this season of hurt and help you transition to the next thing? So that's another part of the thing that we do. And then we go do the investigation as well too.
That's awesome. And so, fire ends, you come back to the office. Is it then your job? You're logging that in, like the statistic portion of it.
You got some
you're the back
reports to
end.
enter,
Okay.
and there's some desk time. Yeah.
So, like, outside of those who are like in the trucks and like fighting the fire,
Yeah.
like your end of it is you're definitely. I would say it would be you, and then if the deputy chief or chief's on site, they're talking with the potential victims, the homeowners, and then you guys are coming back and doing the brunt of the paperwork. Is that how it works, or like who's doing the paperwork?
Yeah.
It's kind of like all the way
We share
around.
it. So, but yeah, somebody is coming back here and
doing something,
doing
sitting
the
down
paperwork.
for a bit.
Yeah. For every action that happens out there in real life, there's some sort of record keeping of it, right? So,
100%. Well, before we wrap up here, Alyn, one thing I wanted to ask too is like, how has the fire department been this past year? More specifically, like you were talking about goals you set out every year. What was the goal this year, and how are you guys working on that this year?
So out of
I'm sure you have several.
yeah,
but
it's more coming out of the COVID season, right? Like how can we engage with more people effectively? So social media has been a big part of that. Like you guys have been a huge part of that. The academy, now that we're able to do that again, has been a huge part of that. How can we get out the information that the community needs to know to be safer or more educated? How can we do that more effectively? What's our biggest bang for the buck, right? So that was a huge thruster for us. How can we do that?
And how do you feel this year? How that's went?
It's been good. Like we've had a lot of people applying for the academy.
Oh, that's awesome.
And kids coming through.
If you're watching this, apply. Like, if you have kids, apply.
Yeah, absolutely.
You can have an adult come in like, oh, I want to learn.
Check with your teacher in the fall.
Yeah.
We can have some classrooms come through.
That would be so awesome. And then my other thing too is, obviously we're in the midst of wildfire season. It's been a pretty crazy one this year. A lot of down points to it. It's been wild. How have you guys been involved at all? Like, has anyone volunteered to help out? I know that had happened like last year, specifically during the wildfire season, but I haven't really heard about it happening this year. Anyone helping out with Donnie Creek Fire? I'm sure there were some, but I was just curious about that and how that's been going.
Yeah, there were a few departments that showed up that were able to help out for sure. Our mandate here is with the city. That's the taxpayer base, so that is our priority. And if we do have a spare truck or crew, depending on the availability of the units, like for instance, we helped out in Kelowna or Williams Lake area in the past, right? We didn't have that kind of availability for us this year.
That's probably
our one truck was down for quite a while, so needing some repairs. But the BC Wildfire Service, they do such a good job.
Yeah, they do.
I'm
a big fan just in the fact of like communication with us and like the information they gave us. Like a lot of people were talking about our coverage when the wildfires were in the Peace region.
Yeah.
Well, that's partly because the BC Wildfire Service is giving us that information at all times. Of like, I was doing stories at like 2 a.m, and they were putting it out, right? So they do.
They're spot on.
They do a pretty great job for sure.
Yeah. Then if you've got another interview process, it'd be fun interviewing some of those guys because we got a smoke jumper base here. That's like one of the few in North America.
Yeah,
it's pretty sweet.
I've tried, but they're usually busy. Reach out to me so we can do those interviews. I've definitely tried, but it's just so hard, right? Because of the wildfire season and just how busy they are. And I know the shifts and everything like that. I remember last year, I think I tried to get them on a couple months before the season, but then most of the smoke jumpers are gone at that point, and then there's people doing office work, and then they're preparing. So it's definitely I'm still gonna try, but they definitely are working year round, but they do have a specific season, right? Yeah. Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Alyn. It was so awesome talking with you today.
Thank you.
I don't know the time of it, but we probably went rather long. But whatever. It was my first time talking to you in months. I'm the boss, so it's okay. This is Trail Opportunity with Energeticcity.ca. This is the Community Roundup brought to you by Brad's Furniture and Appliances. Again, I was speaking with Alyn Stobbe with the City of Fort St. John Fire Department. Thank you again, Alyn. You guys have a wonderful weekend. And I'm going to race back around to turn this thing off. It's my workout for the day.